Hello, I'm Father Jerome, one of the assistant parish priests of the Church of St. Ignatius. Today we celebrate Palm Sunday, but unfortunately, we cannot participate in the liturgy of Palm Sunday. But as you recall, on Palm Sunday we are given the option to begin the liturgy with the commemoration of Jesus' triumphant entrance into Jerusalem. And with this form of the celebration, we read the gospel account of his entrance into the city of Jerusalem, where his disciples welcomed him by singing praises to God, loud rejoicing cheers, the waving of palm branches, and the laying of garments to pave his way into the city of David. And at the start of this celebration, we too are reminded of the mood of his grand entrance. And we share in this mood, we share in this joy. We carry palms and we have them blessed. We sing psalms of joy and we honor the Lord by acknowledging his kingship in song. But the gospel reading for the Mass itself, not the entrance, but the Mass of Palm Sunday itself, is the Passion narrative, and not one of these accounts of the Lord's triumphant entrance into the city of David. The question is why? I suppose one way of explaining it is that it is meant for the sake of completeness. The story does not end with Palm Sunday and the Lord's entrance into Jerusalem, but rather it leads into the Lord's Passion. It is only part of the drama, and there's more drama to unfold. There must have been some among the crowd who were there at the gates of Jerusalem who joined in the excitement without fully understanding the significance of the event. They did not know Jesus, they did not know who he was, they did not know that Jesus is the Christ, the Messiah. All they saw was this large crowd and they wanted to be part of the crowd. But what if there wasn't a crowd cheering and singing? What if there was no excitement? Would they have been there? Even among the disciples who had followed Jesus, did not fully comprehend his kingship. Jesus had intimated to them his eventual suffering and death, but yet many of his disciples hang on to the notion that he was merely a political Messiah, freeing them from the yoke of hegemony. Just imagine the shock they received when they saw their master and friend, the king whom they welcomed into the city with great pomp at the start of the week, was let out of the city a few days later as a criminal condemned to die on the cross. This was not something they expected. Many of us are experiencing a sense of uncertainty, a sense of loss, or even shock right now because of our COVID-19 pandemic. It is not something we expected just a few months ago. We thought life would have gone on as usual. After Advent, there was Christmas, after Christmas, ordinary times, and then we enter Lent, and that leads into Holy Week and Easter. We expected the routine to take place once again this year. The usual liturgies with the usual prayers, the usual hymns, and the usual symbols. But not this year, and we feel unsettled. Without the usual crowd attending the liturgies of Holy Week, perhaps it is time we ask ourselves this question: the fundamental reason why we have been gathering for Palm Sunday celebration. Why do we take the palm? Why do we wave them? Why do we get them blessed? Why do we take them home? What for? Without the congregation and the usual symbols and rituals of the celebration, can we still see Jesus? We are living in an unexpected period, but as Jesus has promised, he will always be there for us. So why do we fret and why do we fear? So my friends, look closer and see the Lord in our unexpectedness. The dramatic contrast between the city welcoming a king and a city rejecting Jesus as a criminal condemned to death reminds us of God's omnipotence and his mystery. Jesus uses precisely that which dooms us, death itself, to save us. In dying with the Lord, we shall also be resurrected with him. In our darkness, we see the light of Christ even brighter. In our current situation of gloom, of the pandemic, can we see Jesus' salvific hand reaching out to us? Can we see with greater clarity the more important things in life, with the light of Christ shining brightly on us? For instance, have we been living lives too individualistic, too self-centered? And the current situation has forced us to rethink and remember that we need community. No man is an island. We are social beings. We need to be with others to flourish. And perhaps we have been neglecting this aspect of human existence. Since the beginning of social media, many have been physically present but socially distant. We sit with our families and friends at meals, yet we keep our nose burrowed in our smartphones, not being present to others. It is now with the legal prescription to distance ourselves from one another that the Lord is telling us that we need to be with others, be present to others. The light of Christ illuminates and helps us see better in darkness. We are unable to collect a branch of blessed palm from the parish this year and cannot bring it home to place it on our altar or near a door or where have you. Again, given this extraordinary time that have disrupted our annual routine, perhaps the Lord is inviting us to peer deeper into the meaning of the palm branches that we cherish. What do the palms symbolize? What do we use them for? Only John's Gospel mentioned palm branches, whereas the other Gospels simply reported that the people used tree branches. For the Romans, palm branches were symbols of victory, and laying them on the path of Jesus was a way to pay due respect and honor his arrival. The entrance narrative even mentioned that the people had placed their garments along the path as the Lord made his triumphant entrance into Jerusalem. But what do palms mean to you? What do palms mean to us? And what victory do they symbolize? The second reading taken from Palm Sunday's Office of Readings is from the discourse attributed to St. Andrew of Crete. And in it he writes, "In his humility, Christ entered the dark regions of our fallen world. And he is glad that he became so humble for our sake, glad that he came and lived among us, and shared in our nature in order to raise us up again to himself. And even though we are told that he has now ascended above the highest heavens, the proof surely of his power and Godhead, his love for man will never rest until he has raised our earthbound nature from glory to glory, and made it one with his own in heaven. So let us spread before his feet not garments or soulless olive branches, which delight the eye for a few hours and then wither, but ourselves clothed in his grace, or rather clothed completely in him. We who have been baptized into Christ must ourselves be the garments that we spread before him. Now that the crimson stains of our sins have been washed away in the saving waters of baptism, and we who have become white as pure wool, let us present the conqueror of death, not with mere branches of palms, but with the real rewards of his victory. Let our souls take the place of the welcoming branches as we join today in the children's holy song. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the King of Israel. We have been won by the Lord's suffering and sacrifice. The palms are not his trophies, but we are his trophies of victory. We do not take these palms back to our homes as an empty symbol or mere tokens, but as a reminder of our indebtedness to the Lord and of our discipleships. He does not want us to lay down palm branches or garments to welcome him, but to lay down our lives and follow him. What good is victory if we do not share the spoils of our victory? What good is life if it does not bring more life? We should welcome others just as we welcome the Lord. Perhaps this is how we can, in practice, welcome the Lord. To share him with others, to share the life the Lord has given us with others. And in this difficult time, a good way to live out our discipleship is by caring even more for one another. Be socially responsible. Care for the most vulnerable amongst our midst. Care for the elderly, care for the poor. Care not only for the loved ones, but care for all, for the people who most need our help. Do not hoard food. Listen to what the authorities has to tell us and how we should live our lives according to the precautionary measures, not only to protect yourself, but for others as well. Think of others. Victory has been given us by the Lord. Victory has been won for us by his sacrifice. So with our sacrifice, perhaps we can offer life to others as well. So, my dear friends, have a good Palm Sunday celebration as we journey slowly into Holy Week and into the Easter Triduum. And may the Lord bless you and keep you.